Hi everyone, it's Olivia from Girlybunches, and in this week's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this really cute Tunisian crochet pot holder. So I've made it fairly small because I needed it to fit into my screen, and yeah, so you can make this bigger. What it is it starts off with 12 chains, but obviously you could make this wider by having more than 12 chains. So obviously that's halfway through, so it would make it wider if you make more chains. And it's just a simple process of picking up a stitch and working it, and then going back and then repeating that, just picking up a new stitch each time. So this is in the Tunisian Simple Stitch, so I've done a video on how to do that stitch, and I'll put a link in the description box down below. Very simple, it's the most basic Tunisian crochet stitch you can do, so nothing complicated. And you'll need to make 2 discs, and this looks more complicated than it is, but honestly it really isn't difficult at all. So yeah, that's just my little project. I hope you like it, and nothing else to say apart from it's made in double knit yarn, and I've used a 4mm Tunisian crochet hook, and you will need a normal crochet hook as well to just do the edging with, but apart from that everything's very simple. So this is how I made it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a chain of 12, and what we're going to do is we're going to make backward and forward stitches, increasing each row by 1 stitch. So I'm going to work my first Tunisian simple stitch into the first chain, which is just to put the yarn over and pull up the loop, and I'm going to work that now backwards. So that was a forward pass, now I'm going to go back. So the first stitch on a back return is to just put the yarn over and pull it through 1 loop like that, and then the next one is to put the yarn over and pull it through 2 loops. So I've gone forward 1 place and then back. Now what I want to do is work that Tunisian simple stitch that I've just done going forward. So I'm going to put my yarn over and pull up a loop, and then I'm going to work in to the next chain along. So that's that one there, doing a Tunisian simple stitch. So I've put the yarn over and pulled it through. So now I have 3 loops, so now I'm going to come backwards. So I need to do yarn over and pull it through the first loop, then yarn over and pull it through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull it through 2 loops. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to keep going forward 1 space and then coming back. Keep working and picking up 1 more chain until I've got to the end and I've picked up all of the chains. So again, work the next stitch along, the next stitch along, and now I'm going to pick up the next chain. So you're just going to be increasing the number of loops as you work. So basic return, so it's 1 loop, 2 loops, 2 loops, and then 2 loops. So just one more time, I'm going to work 1 stitch, the next stitch, the next stitch, and now I've run out, I need to pick up 1 of the chains, which should be that one, and then I do a basic return. So you can start to see the fan shape now developing, and then that's going to gradually work its way upwards. So there's 1 row, there's the second, and you can see that they get longer and longer. So I'm going to keep going until I've worked all of my chains, and I'm going to come back and show you how to start working in the next colour. Okay, so I've gone through now and picked up all of those stitches, and as you can see it curls up amazingly, which is what happens with Tunisian crochet, and now I've picked up that very last chain on the end. So I'm just going to do my return, so I can get that out of the way. I'm just now going to do my basic return, which is what I've been doing all throughout the work so far. And remember, like I said, this is just going to be a small project because I needed it to fit in the screen nicely. So you can obviously make this make the base chain as long as you want, so that will affect the width of your pot holder in the end. So yeah, just work your basic return all the way back until you have 2 loops left on your hook. Okay, like that. And now this is where you change colours. So take your other don't cut your yarn, because you'll pick that up when you come to do the next band of colour. If I just show you the back of this one, you can see that that's where I've pulled it up to work the next band. So don't cut this off. You'll need to work with 2 strands of yarn. If you think that's going to be a bit complicated for you, then cut yourself a decent tail and don't let it unravel. So yeah, cut yourself a decent tail and maybe tie it onto the end that you're working once you've started working with the new colour, but I recommend keeping it uncut for the moment. So take your yarn, your new colour yarn, and you're going to make sure your tail is on the right hand side, and you're going to work that yarn to do your last return stitch. And what that does, and then just pull down your tail to tighten that up. And then what that does is it means you've now got the loop of your new colour, so that you can start working your next segment. So as I started off with this one, you just work the first stitch in your new colour and then do a basic return, and then you just keep doing the same thing by picking up 1 more stitch on each pass. There's 1. Now I'm going to pick up that stitch, and then I'm going to pick up the next stitch along. So instead of being chains, we're picking up the actual Tunisian Simple Stitch from the previous colour band, and then do your basic return. Just as you've been doing all the way through. So keep going like that and repeating until you have 3 of each segment. If you're doing 2 different colours, ultimately you want 6 segments. So once you've done that, I will then show you how to join it up to make it as 1. So I'm just working my last panel and I'm working my last row, but I just wanted to show you this of the middle section, and so I need to pick up 1 more stitch. So I've got 11 on here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and I just need to pick up the last stitch, so it's going to be that one right in the middle there. So I hope you can see that, and yeah, that's the one that you pick up, and that's your last one. So now I have 12 on there, and I'm just going to do the basic return. And then once I've got to the end, obviously I'm not going to add another colour now because I've got my 6 panels of my chosen colours, and just make my way back. And now what we need to do is we now have to cast off our stitches. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to keep going until I've got 1 left on, like that. So now that should, yep, that's everything I need. So I need to cast this off, and then we need to sew these 2 edges together. So to cast off in Tunisian crochet, you need to work the stitch as if you're going to do a normal stitch, but instead of pulling it just through and leaving that loop on, you pull that all the way through both loops. So I'll do that again. Pick up your next stitch, yarn over, and pull the yarn through that loop and then the loop that you have left on your hook, and you just keep going and you're slowly working your stitches off the hook until you get to the end, and then you can cut your yarn and then we can sew our edges together. Right, last one into that middle stitch there, pull it through, and I'm going to leave a long tail on here so that I've got some yarn to sew the 2 edges together. So I don't need this other colour now, so I can cut that one. I'll turn it over. Where is it? So I don't need this one anymore. And this one I'm going to leave a decent tail so that I can sew the 2 edges together. Okay, where am I? here I am. So I need to take my loop like I would finish off crochet work and pull that tail through that loop and then pull it tight, and then that finishes that off. So if I turn it over, you can see it all looks a bit messy, and you can see where I've taken up the yarn to bring up to do the next section. So you don't want to pull that too tight, you want to give that give yourself enough room to work your stitches, otherwise it will just pull. If you have this too tight, it will pull this down, so you want to make sure you can lay it down flat. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put the two backs of the work together, and as you can see, the first one we did's got a bit more of a length to it, so you need to just sort of do a bit of fettling, as I think my husband would say. So you need to kind of just get this sort of lined up the best you can, and it's going to be a bit tricky, but that's the two edges that you now need to sew together. So make it fit the best way that you can, and I'm just going to get my darning needle out, and you want to pick up the stitches, so you want to go through these stitches, the top of your stitches, so these two loops here, just like you would with normal crochet. I pull that tail out and through the tops of those, and then sew your work together. So once it's sewn together, make sure it lays down flat, and then you can sew in your end. And then this middle part here, you can use this tail end to just pull these centre stitches together. Okay, so we now have our two parts made, and very snazzy they look too. So we're not going to worry about these bits, because we're going to now join these two shapes up together. So you can either have them contrasting with the panels, or you can have them matching. It's entirely up to you, but I think I'm going to have them contrasting like this. And then what we're going to do now is we're just simply going to you can either sew around the edges, or you can crochet around the edges. So I'm going to crochet around them, and I'm just going to take my normal crochet hook for that. So I'm just going to attach my yarn I've chosen to go around the outside edge to my hook, and then I'm just going to start in any position, making sure that my segments are lined up nicely, and then it's just a question of finding the best place to put the hook through, and you want to go through go through both layers. Why was that so difficult to say? I don't know. And then I'm just going to start off by doing a slip stitch to attach my yarn, and then I'm just going to do a chain, and then I'm going to just do a double crochet all around the edge, and you may know that as a single crochet, but I'm British, so I use British terminology, and it's just a question of going round and joining the two layers, a bit like the pot holder video that I've already done using a granny, I think it was a granny square sort of style. Yeah, so just make your way around, and once you get back to the beginning, you can either leave it like that and just make yourself a little loop so that you can hang it up somewhere, or you could do a scalloped edge. So I'm going to come back once I've got round to the beginning again. So I'm now back round to the beginning, and what I'm going to do here is just going to finish off by doing a slip stitch into where I started off, and I'm going to do so many chains, not many, I don't know how many, just I'm not counting them. Not like me to not count things, but there you go. I'm not being a rebel, just making a little loop there, and I'm going to slip stitch back down again just to seal that off, and then pull my yarn. I can cut it now, and then I can seal, finish off that by just pulling that tight, and then I'll just sew in my ends, and there we go. There is a Tunisian crochet pot holder. So yes, I made this small so that it would fit in the screen, and obviously you can make this much wider so that it's, you know, but it's still a good size. You could just sort of grab a, if you had two, if you made two of those, they'd be good for grabbing out a casserole dish with. And yeah, really, really thick. I don't know if you can see like how thick they are, but that is really thick. There's, you know, you're going to give yourself good protection with that. So yeah, even if you've just got a saucepan where the handle gets hot, this would be good for grabbing hold of that. How many times have we all done that? That unexpected hot handle feeling. Okay, so yeah, that's just my little video on how to make a Tunisian crochet pot holder. I love the pattern. Imagine these in red and white. They'd be great for Christmas, wouldn't they? Sort of Christmas gifts, or using at Christmas time. There's always plenty of pots and pans to be washed up, moved around, held. Grab that for me. Oh, I forgot the gravy type thing. You know, so yeah, great little project, and using the Tunisian Simple Stitch. So I hope you liked that. Something a bit different. And okay, so I'd love a thumbs up if you liked this video. I really hope you did. Don't forget you can subscribe to my channel. It's free. I don't know where the button is anymore. It's probably down there, probably up there. I don't know. I'd love it if you hit that button and join all the other subscribers that have kindly joined my channel, and you'll see a video once a week. And you can always follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. I'm Girlybunches in all of those places, and I would love you to come and say hi. So I'll say goodbye for now, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.